Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the UK Stroke Assembly online and in your homes. My name's Tony Banks. I'm Head of Conference and Events at the Stroke Association. I'm also really proud Chair of the UK Stroke Assembly. It's week 2 of our 6-week programme, and this week the focus is on taking action. Last week was all about staying active, and you can re-watch all of those webinars again on our website at stroke.org.uk/UKSA virtual. So please do check them out on our website and share them with others if you think they'd benefit from seeing them. As I say, this week is all around taking action, and I'm really excited about today's webinar. We have the wonderful Sally B, LoSalt Ambassador, joining us for a live cook-along. So we'll introduce Sally and get started in a moment. But before we do, we want you to have your say. This is your series of events. So please use the chat box, introduce yourself, say hello to others that are online too, and ask Sally any questions or post any comments that you'd like to put to her, and we'll get to them at the end of the broadcast. As usual, we've got Natalie with us this morning, who's going to be commenting and taking posts and questions from you and putting them to Sally. How are you doing, Nat?
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's great to be here again, and thank you so much to everyone who is joining us this morning. If you would like to post any comments or ask Sally any questions throughout the webinar, at the right-hand side of your screen, you should see a chat box. If you scroll right down to the bottom, you'll be able to add your comments in the text bar and submit using the little arrow. I'll be there to pick up those throughout the webinar and feedback to those to Sally at the end as well.
Thanks, Natalie. And if you are using social media, please do share the broadcast and post on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram using the hashtag Stroke Assembly. And if you are cooking today or this week, then please post your final results on Twitter and share them with us using that hashtag. We'd love to see them. So without further ado, I'm really pleased to introduce Sally now. She's going to take you through the live cook-along in partnership with LoSalt. And over to you, Sally, for today's webinar.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's so lovely to be with you all. Brilliant to be working along with the Stroke Association and LoSalt, of course. I'm going to just start cooking, and as I go along, I'll tell you a little bit about my story, about maybe why I understand your situation a bit better than you might think. Let's start cooking first of all, because I need to get this in the oven, and I'm just going to give you a few hints and tips on healthy eating. So the dish that I'm cooking for you today, super simple, super quick and easy, is lemon cod with oat crumb and spinach. The recipe is on the Stroke Association website and the LoSalt website, so you can print it off and get cooking to your heart's content. Here I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil to a pan. Now, don't ever think that olive oil is a problem for your health. If you have any stroke issues, heart issues, circulatory issues, a little bit of olive oil is really, really good, especially when you mix that with some onions. So I've got some chopped shallots here. I'm just going to pop those in. Now, all my recipes are super quick and easy because I'm not a chef. I'm a home cook. I have 3 children to feed, so food has to be quick and easy to make because they're always so hungry. And what I want to be at pains to tell you is that food is something that can act alongside your medication. Food, there's an old saying, let food be thy medicine, and it's true. The things that you eat have the ability to give you health. Other things take health away, like a sedentary lifestyle or smoking. Obviously, none of us on here would touch that, drinking too much. But the one thing that can give you health is good food. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be difficult to make. All it needs to be is fresh and natural. So this dish demonstrates that perfectly. It's a cod dish, but I'm making a lovely little crispy crumb to go on the top. Another tip that I would say is look at a recipe as a basis, and then if there's something you really love, add it in. So I use always basic recipes, and then if I think, oh, I want a bit of extra garlic or a bit of extra spice, I'll add a bit of garlic or a bit of chili powder in, or whatever you want to add in. So always be as imaginative as you want to be with your dish. So So back to the, I've got to say thank you to Mr. B, who's my cameraman extraordinaire, as usual. Bless him. He thought he was going to have a day sunbathing today. No, that's not happening. So I've got my shallots cooking here. Into that, I'm going to add 25 grams of oats, so porridge oats, simple as that. That's going to go in. Also, now this is where you find out the truth. The recipe calls for chives. I didn't have chives. I thought I had chives in my little herb garden. I haven't got any chives. I think the slugs have eaten the chives. So I'm adding parsley instead. It doesn't matter. A bit of green, a bit of herb, a bit of flavour is a good thing. Into here, I'm adding a little bit of black pepper and then LoSalt. Now, LoSalt is 66%. I'm just going to add a tiny bit more olive oil. LoSalt is 66% less sodium than normal table salt. Don't worry if you think it's a chemical-laden product. It's not. It's completely natural. It just has less of the sodium in it, so it's really, really good. The only people that can't use LoSalt are ones that have a serious kidney function problem. As long as you've got a good, healthy kidney function, then you're fine. Now, into here, this is already smelling delicious. I'm just adding a bit of lemon zest and then the juice of half a lemon. This is how quick and easy this dish is. Healthy eating isn't about being skinny. Healthy eating isn't about counting calories. Healthy eating is about eating nutritious food that gives your body the energy that it needs. Healthy eating is about seasoning with sense. I'm just squeezing the lemon juice in now. It's got the zest. I'm popping the lemon juice in. Healthy eating is about seasoning with sense. So you don't rely on too much fat, sugar or salt for your health-giving flavour. You can add pepper, you can add lemon, lime, chilies, LoSalt, swap your salt over and just get used to this. You can't tell the difference, it's perfect. And it's just about having a little bit of imagination. You know, anybody can make this dish that I'm cooking for you here. This is how easy it is. I'm meant to be doing this for half an hour for you. I think we're going to end up sitting down and having a chat because it's this easy. It's going to be done really quick. Now, over here, I've got two little cod loins. Always, I would say, buy fish when it's on special offer. Make sure it's fresh, but you know at the different supermarkets, some days they'll have salmon on special or cod. Buy whatever fish is on special offer. You don't need to spend too much money. It just needs to be fresh and you can see that is good fish. So I got this from my little local co-op this morning and they had it on special offer. So I thought, right, that's the cod I'm going to use for this recipe. Now, what I'm going to do, the oven is being preheated, by the way, to 180. And this is the crumb topping. I love the flavour of lemon. You know what you could have had, especially on a hot sunny day like this, you could have added mint into this instead of the parsley. That would have worked. Now, what else I'm going to add around this is just going to bake in the oven, is cherry tomatoes. This is to feed two and a good couple of handfuls of cherry tomatoes, about 200 grams. But hey, who weighs tomatoes? Not me. I just think, yeah, that's about what I need. How gorgeous does that look already? It's not cooked. I could then, over the tomatoes, add a little bit more black pepper, a tiny sprinkle of LoSalt. There are some ingredients that need a bit of salt, and there are some that don't. I think the ingredients that do need a little bit of salt are tomatoes, eggs, and potatoes, and sometimes vegetables. But blood pressure, I'm going to explain to you in a moment about blood pressure, is a big consideration for those of us with circulatory problems. So by cutting down, adding the flavour in other ways and cutting down on the salt, you are making baby steps to massively change your health potentially for the future. Right, I'm just going to pop over to the oven. Don't look inside it. It's going to be a surprise. Let's pop that one in. I'm going to get this one out. Oh, what time is it? 11:10. It's not too early, is it, to eat something like this? This is the dish. How quick and easy was that? Now, the thing that we're going to serve this with is spinach. When you're eating for health, you need a rainbow of flavours. So you can see you've got predominantly red here. Obviously, we need a big load of green, and spinach is so good for us. Now, in the recipe, I cook this just in the microwave, in a plastic bowl, in a little bit of water. But actually, my microwave is kaput at the moment, so I'm just going to pop it on the hob here to cook. The spinach is just washed, always, especially at the moment, wash everything, wash all your vegetables. Even if it says they're already washed in the packet, wash them. And I've just got a little bit of water in here. Now, if you wanted, you could add some more lemon, you could add some garlic, you could add some chili flakes. Actually, chili flakes would be nice. I'm going to add a few chili flakes. You can really zhuzh it up as much as you want. I'm not going to add any extra low salt or pepper to this because I've already got those on the fish and the tomatoes. And I'm just going to let that wilt away for a couple of minutes while I tell you a bit about my experience. So, I'm very proud to say I'm not one of those ladies that likes to hide her age. I'm really, 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 really proud and happy to say that I'm 52. Yeah, because it's a bit of a miracle, I suppose, that I'm still here. When I was 36, I had 3 children under the age of 5. So I was a busy mama with these 3. And out of the blue, I suffered 3 heart attacks in a week. Out of the blue, totally, because I had no idea that I had a problem. It turned out that I have a very rare condition called SCAD, spontaneous coronary artery dissection. Long story short, I then had to work really hard to get my life back on track. So those of you that are tuning in and watching this because you've been affected by stroke, the first thing I would say to you is you're absolutely not on your own. And any emotions that you're feeling coming through the stroke journey are completely normal and natural. Whatever you feel today is the right feeling for you to feel today. What is hugely important is that you take great care of your health. So you take the medication that doctors have given you, you keep nicely hydrated, especially on hot days, you eat healthily, and you take lots of rest. Never, ever, ever think that rest is a failure, because it's not. Rest is, to achieve good rest, is a gold star for you. So I think it's really important, particularly through this coronavirus pandemic that we're living through. I'm still in shock about it all. I think it's really important to know that you are not forgotten. So many times, I'm just going to give the spinach a stir while I chat to you. So many times I'm hearing stories of people who are feeling forgotten, not wanting to call an ambulance when they're feeling really poorly, not wanting to go and see their GP when they're really struggling with symptoms, recovering from stroke, because they don't want to be a burden. But here's the thing, you all matter too, okay? You have something separate. I mean, the COVID scenario sort of piles more worry onto us, but that doesn't make your stroke journey pale into any insignificance. So the fact that you're here watching is brilliant. And just as, you know, me as a spokesperson for LoSalt and the Stroke Association, we just want you to feel very much part of the community and know that we get it, okay? We understand it. And I suppose as a cook, the thing that I can say to you is you can make a difference to your health by really watching what you eat, season with sense, and keeping that blood pressure low, which is really important. Now, I've waffled for quite a bit. Let me see how the food's going. We are doing good. So, where's my plate? I'm going to put this out and I'm going to have a taste of it and see how it was. So the spinach is lovely and fresh and so full of goodness. Look at that. I must warn you, I'm not very good at putting food out and making it look nice. I'm really, really good at cooking it. I'm not good at presentation. I've done many TV shows where I've ended up going, whoop, and it's gone over my shoulder and landed up on a presenter's skirt. Mayonnaise all over Holly Willoughby, and all sorts of food all over Lorraine Kelly. So, but it always tastes good, so it doesn't matter. And it's always really healthy. Can I just talk to you about blood pressure for a moment? Do you know your blood pressure numbers? I'm sure you do. There's something like 9.5 million people diagnosed each year in the UK with blood pressure, high blood pressure. And one of the easiest ways to deal with that is by cutting down on your salt intake. Because in real sort of gentle Sally B style layman's terms, what happens is when you eat too much salt, it enters your bloodstream and water follows. Wherever salt goes, water follows. That's why you're thirsty after you eat something salty. And because all the water enters your bloodstream, it puts your blood pressure up. It's as simple as that. Well, this is what it's like working from home. There's someone at the door. They'll just have to wait. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, it's real. It's live. We're here. That's probably the kids have just ordered something else from the parcels that come in this house are incredible. Right, let's just show you now this delicious dish. What was I saying? I went off course. What was I saying, Mr. B? I was saying
blood pressure.
Oh, blood pressure, yeah. So make sure you know your blood pressure, and if you need to bring it down, make small changes that will make a massive difference to your health. And do you know what? What an easy, gorgeous way to be healthy by eating food like this. Let's take a little look at it. Now, I was meant to save some lemon to go on the side, but I didn't. I forgot. So I'm just going to put it like that, and it looks really nice. Now, that has taken me 10 minutes max to make. Obviously, the fish, I had it already cooking. The fish takes about 20 minutes in the oven, but to prepare it, 10 minutes. Who can tell me they can't cook that? And who can tell me that doesn't look worthy of a Stroke Association Michelin star? I'm sorry, I think it does. I'm hoping you've got some questions. I think Natalie is going to come back on and ask any questions that have been asked, and Tony might come back on too. I want you to give this dish a go, and I want you to go to the Stroke Association website, look at the recipes. There's some of mine on there, there's some LoSalt ones on there. Go to the LoSalt website, go to my website, and just educate yourself on easy dishes that you can make in a flash like that show that you're taking your health and well-being seriously, because you deserve it. You deserve to look after yourself. Let me just have a slurp of my water, because it's very hot in here. Am I looking sweaty?
Sally, Natalie and I are back. Thank you so much for taking us through that. I've got massive kitchen envy to start off with, what kitchen you've got, and I'm also now really, really hungry.
Yes, well, it smells good, so I might have to be tucking into this, but I do want to see, Tony, all your lovely followers. I want to see their pictures of the food that they cook.
Well, I'm sure people will be posting using the hashtag Stroke Assembly. We'll be sharing them online if they can. I will certainly be having a go myself this week, Sally, and seeing if my boys will get tucked into that too.
Good.
Natalie, we've had lots of people joining and saying hi. Have we had many comments through?
We have. I say thank you so much to everyone who's joined us today. It's been great to read all your comments, and a lot of people have been enjoying today's session, which is really lovely to see. I do have one question for you, Sally. It's from Sue. It says, "Hi, Sally. That looks gorgeous. Do you have any healthy pudding ideas, please?"
Okay, let me tell you my philosophy on puddings. If you are eating really good, healthy food, 80% of the time, you're allowed to have treats. What you eat most of the time is what matters. What you eat occasionally isn't so important. So you can always make there's so many ways to make healthier desserts. I make cakes, fruit cakes, and just completely miss out the sugar, but obviously it still has fat in it. Obviously fruit, oh my gosh, one of my favorite ones is a roast fruit dish. So I literally have cherries, tomatoes, peaches, any of the summer fruits, and I pop them all together in a roasting tray, drizzle a little bit of honey, a little bit of cinnamon, a couple of star anise, and pop those in the oven for about 20 minutes. Oh my goodness me, it's gorgeous. But I wouldn't worry. If it's somebody's birthday, have cake and a little glass of bubbles, because feeding your soul is really important, as long as it comes from a happy place, and as long as you are eating really good, nutritious, healthy food for 80% of the time. I think it's really a shame when people think, oh my gosh, I've got to get healthy so I can never have a treat again. That's not sustainable. But you have to look at each plate of food and think, right, read your plate of food. So I look at that and think, great, this has got the rainbow, it's got red. Tomatoes are so good for you, no matter how you cook them. Tomatoes are the best. Spinach, so good for you. I've got protein and omegas in my fish. I've got a lovely, tasty, crispy crumb. There's not too much fat. There's low salt, there's black pepper. That I can eat a big plate of that. So if throughout the week I've eaten like that, and then come Sunday, I fancy, a piece of treacle tart, then have a little piece of treacle tart with the fruit roast that you've done in the oven if you fancy. Does that help? Does that answer the question?
That does. Thank you, Sally. I have another question here from Marnie. It says, what can you substitute fish for if you're a vegetarian or do not like fish?
Okay, well, if you're vegetarian, you can substitute the fish with great big mushrooms, and this works really well. You can also do it with a big aubergine. So you would stuff it with the filling. So you'd still make this filling, the crumbly top, and then you'd have one of those really big mushrooms and stuff it in. If I was doing that, I would make sure I add garlic into this mix, because you need that garlic with the mushroom. I think the fish, I didn't want the garlic to overpower the fish, because I love the flavour of cod, and this is such a clean dish that you really get the flavour. So yeah, you can use mushrooms, you can use tofu and things like that, but still I prefer to keep it all really natural, so I know exactly what's in it. So nothing processed is good. But yeah, mushrooms or a big aubergine begins with A. It's hot. Yeah, that should work for you.
Thank you, Sally. That sounds fantastic. I just have one more question around the low salt. Could you tell us a little bit more about what it's made up of? Is it natural?
Yes, it's 100% natural. So lots of people think that this is a chemical loaded product, and it's not. It's literally got sodium and potassium. And so people talk about that I use pink Himalayan salt or rock salt or thing. Salt is salt. It doesn't matter what color it is, and it doesn't matter how big the granules are. Salt is salt. And salt is a silent killer. We really have to cut it down. So this is 100% natural, potassium and sodium mixed together. And I use it all the time. When I work with LoSalt, and I approach them to work with them, because to me, this was like, this is a no-brainer. Why aren't more people using this? If salt is this big, massive problem, which we know it is, why aren't more people working to just season with sense and make small steps? So yeah, it's completely natural. It's suitable for absolutely everybody. The only people it's not suitable for are those that have kidney function problems, serious kidney function problems. But if you're one of those people, you will know that, so for everybody else, it's perfectly safe and natural, 100%.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you. That's all the questions I have for now, but thank you for everyone for sharing all your lovely comments. I will just finish on one, which I think is really nice to share, from Sue again, saying, "Thank you, Sally, you have inspired me," which I think we all share that comment today. So thank you so much, Sally, for joining us.
Thanks, Natalie. Sally, just before you go, I do have a question for you. It was really interesting to hear you talking about your heart condition. And when we chatted earlier on, you spoke about how that also comes with a high risk of stroke. I think a lot of people listening will really relate to you today and everything you've been talking about. Maybe we could finish, I don't know if you've got any top tips for those either living with stroke or heart conditions on what are your top tips for a healthy lifestyle when it comes to eating?
Right, okay, let me give you my 5 top tips. And healthy eating is at the top of that. So healthy eating, there's no specific diet. I'm often asked, well, what's the best thing to eat if you're recovering from breast cancer? What's the best thing if you're diabetic? What's the best thing if you've had a stroke? It's this healthy eating is really simple. You need to eat natural and fresh. Cut out all processed junk. Because why would you put stuff in your body that isn't fresh and natural? In our family, fast food, this is fast food. If you want fast food, you grab one of those. It's just got to be natural and fresh. So that's number 1 top tip. Number 2 top tip, if you're coming on your stroke journey, is to understand the importance that your mind has over your condition. So I recovered quite well. It took me 2 years to get over the first 2 heart attacks. Sadly, 3 years ago, nearly 3 years ago, I suffered 2 more heart attacks. So I had heart attack number 4 and 5. Again, physically, I knew what to do, but the battle is often emotionally. Maybe this is something we should do another time, Tony, is talk about how to support yourself emotionally. But I practice a few things every single day, just first thing in the morning, just to get my mindset right, because living in fear is horrible. And lots of you watching will understand that. Living in fear is worse than the stroke or the heart attack itself. And I've definitely been through a period of living in fear. I was diagnosed with a condition called FMD, fibromuscular dysplasia, which has caused the heart attacks and leaves me prone to stroke and aneurysm. So that fear is always there, but I can genuinely tell you that I'm able to move that aside and focus on the good things. And it's just about focusing on what is good in your life and just pushing those fearful thoughts out of the way. We're very clever as human beings, but we're not so clever that we can feel 2 emotions at once. So if you're feeling fear, you just need to change the focus of what you're thinking about and you will no longer feel that fear. It's as simple as that. My other tips, so that's 2 tips, food and mindfulness and keeping an eye on the time. 3rd tip would be, don't battle your medication, as I did for quite a while. I was like, I don't want to take these meds. I'm too young to take these meds. And then a diabetic lady said to me, you're mad moaning about this because my medication keeps me alive. Doesn't your medication keep you alive? Aren't we really lucky to have it? And I thought, yes. Oh my goodness. So from that moment on, I fell in love with my medication and it's no longer a barrier for me. Exercise is really important. If the word exercise puts you off, just go for the word movement. Not everybody can exercise in the traditional way. So just look at it as movement. So even if it's a case of, moving around your kitchen a bit quicker, that's good, that's movement. And my 5th one is rest. Is very, very important. Never beat yourself up about having a rest because you deserve it. And I guess those would be my 5 top tips, Tony.
Thanks so much, Sally. It's great to hear all of this, and I know people will be finding this really, really useful. We'd love to hear more from you, and we'd love to have you back, and maybe we can do that session around mindfulness with you.
We should do a mindfulness one because your viewers, I know what they go through. I live with that concern every day. So together we can, help support one another, can't we?
Thank you so much. We're really grateful. If people want to know more about the LoSalt partnership the Stroke Association has, you can find out more details on our website. We'll post the link again if you want to check that out, and do check out the product LoSalt too. For now, Sally, thanks for joining us. This is going to be available for people to watch over and over again. So we hope to see those photos of people posting their own lemon cards. But we'll see you again soon, Sally. Take care. Thanks again. And Sally was talking about blood pressure through that broadcast. There is plenty of information around stroke and blood pressure on our website as well. So we're posting the link, as you can see right now. Do go and check that out if you want to know more about blood pressure and living with stroke. That is the end of today's broadcast. It's all we've got time for. I will finish by saying a huge thanks to Sally again for today's webinar. We finished this week our Taking Action series. Next week, the focus turns to research and the incredible research that is out there to try and tackle stroke and improve life after stroke. We have on Monday a session with Neve Kennedy from Ulster University, who's going to be talking about how you can rewire the brain. And then next Wednesday, we've also got Helen Morse, a Stroke Association funded researcher, talking about vision. So the focus does shift next week, but please do join us again for our series and spread the word on social media, as we've said, but also pass it on to your friends, to those of people that you know in your stroke clubs and groups as well that may want to benefit from this. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you next week. I hope you enjoyed today, and take care for now. Bye.